Right now, nothing to see here. Well, the lawyer Chris Christie hired to investigate. Well, Chris Christie says that the governor did nothing wrong. Will today's report, well, will it really move the needle in the governor's favor, or does it raise more questions than answers? And then, the progressive Pope meets the Democratic president. Obama and Francis talk inequality and more. Can the pontiff boost the presidential political fortunes in what looks to be a tough midterm season? And if the answer is yes, how can he do it? And later, the Labor Board ruling that could change college sports forever. Football players at Northwestern get the first okay to form a labor union. Well, tonight, what that could mean for college athletes and athletics everywhere. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French. Thanks so much for joining us this Thursday evening, March 27th. I'm going to start here, of course, in New Jersey, where a taxpayer-funded internal report by Governor Christie's camp was released. The investigation, it clears the New Jersey governor of any wrongdoing, in the Bridgegate scandal. And our Kimberly Wallace has been following it all day here, and she joins us with the latest developments from the State House in Trenton. Kim?
Well, Rich, as you said, there's not a shred of evidence Governor Chris Christie was involved in the GWB lane closure scandal. That's according to a report released today by Christie's attorneys.
We found that Governor Christie had no knowledge beforehand of this George Washington Bridge realignment idea, and that he played no role whatsoever in that decision or the implementation of it.
Over the last 10 weeks, attorney Randy Mastro and his firm Gibson Dunn interviewed 70 people and reviewed 250,000 pages of documents, including texts and emails from the governor and his staff. The result, a $1 million, 345-page report funded by taxpayers.
David Wildstein is the person who originated this idea and orchestrated it. That David Wildstein went to Bridget Kelly for approval in the governor's office, and that they had an ulterior motive for implementing that decision.
Mr. Mastro did exactly what the governor paid him a very large fee to do. And it opens up more questions.
Motive being one of them, although it has been alleged closing 2 of the 3 lanes causing massive gridlock was political payback to the mayor of Fort Lee. Senator Loretta Weinberg is leading the Select Legislative Committee on investigations probing the issue. Assemblyman John Wisniewski, who spearheaded the investigation, is currently overseas. 3 key figures in the September lane closures were not interviewed by Christie's attorneys, including a former aide to the governor, Bridget Kelly, David Wildstein, then a top official of the Port Authority, and Bill Stepien, Christie's former campaign manager.
You don't just come to conclusions from interviews. There's lots and lots of documents that involve all those people, which have been part of the public record.
Wildstein stated he told the governor something about these lane closures sometime around the September 11th observance, which is smack in the middle of the time the lane closures were taking place. The governor doesn't recall that, but then it goes on to say, but even if Mr. Wildstein did say it, why would the governor even react to something about a traffic study? Well, of course, we won't know the answer to that unless Mr. Wildstein tells us what he said to the governor.
Bridget Kelly lied to her colleagues and even reached out to a subordinate and asked them to destroy a potentially incriminating document.
And the Legislative Committee and federal prosecutors will continue with their own separate investigations. Reporting for RFL, live in Trenton, Kimberly Wallace. Rich?
Kimberly, thank you very much. Now, after the Mastro press conference, Governor Christie sat down with ABC's Diane Sawyer to talk about the scandal.
But does it defy credulity that aides and appointees would have a personal annoyance, and therefore they shut down the biggest bridge in the world?
When things were first reported, I said, this can't possibly be true, because who would do something like that? Sometimes people do inexplicably stupid things. And so that's what makes it so hard then to, as the guy in charge, none of it made any sense to me. And to some extent still does not.
Now, the report commissioned by the governor is, let's just say, raising some eyebrows. Many people don't think the findings hold a lot of weight. Others, though, say this is very important for the governor. Well, subject for our online question here tonight. We're asking you at home, how much weight do you give this Bridgegate report? And, of course, you can get your opinions heard here both on Twitter and Facebook.